Hello, my name is Eli. I chose to make a product prototype and I call it the Headstock clamp. The strings of a guitar are supposed to sit in evenly placed slots on the nut. However, if there isn't enough tension on the strings, they can sometimes slip out. To compensate for this, guitars are fitted with string trees which add extra tension on the strings, but string trees aren't effective at stopping strings from resonating from behind the nut. This issue is solved by wrapping a string muter around your headstock. I figured, why not combine them both together and make an adjustable clamp that fits around your headstock? So I got some 1/4-inch aluminum bar stock and cut it into 2 pieces with a hacksaw. To shape the pieces, I put a belt sander in a vise, taped the 2 pieces of aluminum together, and sanded them down until they were of equal length. For the hardware in my clamp, I chose some 1/4-inch steel carriage bolts. I taped the pieces back together and drilled 2 holes through them with a drill press. Here's the aluminum bar that will rest against the back of the headstock. For the bar that will clamp across the strings, I reamed out the holes with a larger drill bit, and then countersunk them so the bar slides through the bolts effortlessly. After that, I wet sanded the pieces with 1000 grit sandpaper. To protect the back of the headstock, I applied some adhesive foam tape to the back piece of the clamp. Afterwards, I hammered in the bolts until they pressed firmly into place. Here's the completely disassembled product with the washers and nuts. And here I am assembling the product onto my guitar's headstock. You don't need any tools to put it together, and it doesn't damage the instrument at all. It comes apart just as easily as it goes on. Same process in reverse. So obviously the clamp's going to do its job. It keeps the strings locked into the nut and adds tension. But does the guitar still sound good? And does it sound good with a drop tuning? I tuned my guitar down and recorded a backing track and some lead work with the clamp to see how it sounded. I flubbed the notes a little, but it didn't sound any worse than usual. If I had a better recording setup, I could do a more comprehensive investigation on tone. As it is, I can't tell the difference with the clamp or without the clamp. Honestly, the only problem that comes to mind is that the bolts I used were a little long. Other than that, it works great and doesn't get in the way of your fingers when you're playing. It even fits on my wider 7-string Ibanez headstock, so it's kind of a one-size-fits-all deal. One change that I did come up with would be to swap the top piece of the clamp out for a piece of metal pipe. Then you could size it for your finger and use it for a slide if you wanted. Another cool thing, you can also clamp it down to your fretboard and use it for a capo. That's going to wrap up my project. Thanks for watching everyone, and have a great summer.